Des Moines and all of Central Iowa, welcome to Mac's World Live. Mac's World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Mac's World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Mac's World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
And thanks for staying with us on this second hour. Only this isn't the host of Mac's World, J. Michael McCoy. He is off, doing something fun, taking a day off, enjoying family, or maybe not. I don't know, but he's not here.
Yeah, and he loves being here. I have to admit that.
He does love being here. He loves mixing and talking and mingling with all of you. Even when you're not very nice on his Facebook page, he still handles it very well. So he'll be back maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, maybe Monday. You have to stay tuned. But that phone number, 515-244-0077, is open to you if you want to join the conversation, ask a question. You can do it on the chat line on Webcast One Live as well. And you can pop into the Service Legends
text line.
And Bob, the phone number?
515-809-0993.
Bob Montserrat is helping me man the studio, and then Will Keeps is our guest in studio. WillKeeps.com, WILLKEEPS.com.
Thank you.
Representing the Des Moines Police Department is Paul Parizek. Paul, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having us.
It's always fun to meet a police officer when they're not outside my car window.
You admitting that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You having flashbacks too?
No.
We went through a roadblock one day. I don't know, it was some holiday, and they were doing the seatbelt check, right? And I'm not even driving. My husband's driving. Two of the kids are in the back, and the police officer says something about the kids being in, how old are the kids in the back? I froze. I didn't know. My husband said, you might as well just get out and throw yourself across a hood.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got pulled over one time. It was like 5 years ago. And one police officer came up, and then all of a sudden, 6 of them came up. Tell me why do there have to be so many cops that come up on one car?
It all depends. I mean, I can think of several circumstances. What did they tell you during the stop?
I was only stopped for a seatbelt. So,
there could have been a variety of things at play there. I mean,
were you in front of a donut shop?
No.
I couldn't help it.
Yeah, they might have all just been on their way there.
Right.
There could have been a variety of things going on. I can recall instances where I would stop a car. I worked midnights for many years. Mm-hmm. I might stop a car that matched the description of a car that had been involved in something else. Mm-hmm. And people would hear me say that on the radio. Well, they're naturally going to come and make sure everything's going to go fine for me. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I might need some help. I get up to your window and realize this isn't the guy I'm looking for. Right. I'm just going to figure, a tactful way to just, excuse myself and send you on your way without any hard feelings.
I'm glad you answered that, because the reason why I asked that, because a lot of people in the community wants to know that question. Yeah, the answer to that question.
Yeah, it's really hard sometimes to speak to the specifics. That one I can, because it was you. Mm-hmm. When we speak to the community, it's hard to generalize and explain why we do what we do without knowing the specifics of each little incident. Okay. But the example I just gave you actually happened. I remember I stopped a car one time thinking it was related to something else. Mm-hmm. Got up there, realized right away, no, this isn't the person I'm looking for. And then at that time, that's when we do the things that help build those community relations and build the trust, and just try and figure out a way to tactfully excuse myself and send you on your way without any of us having any hard feelings.
Right.
And if it was just a seatbelt, did you get a ticket?
Yes, I did.
Ooh.
Safety first.
No warnings.
But I didn't want to say this, but I had my seatbelt on.
So why'd you get a ticket?
Yeah.
So why'd you get a ticket?
And that's what the courts are for.
Because he said that I didn't.
Did you put it on when he was walking to the car?
No, I had it on.
Were you sassing him?
No, let me tell you something about me. I don't play when it comes down. See, that's the difference between nowadays and when I was growing up.
Right.
I don't play with police officers. If they tell me to do something, I'm going to do it.
We all should.
I might
right?
ask questions, but I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to show no anger, even if I'm probably mad. But I was raised to not disrespect authority. Nowadays, kids are disrespecting authority like it's no tomorrow. Not just the parents, not just the teachers, but police officers,
right.
Judges. You know what I'm saying? Even the president. You know what I'm saying? Of anything, they're disrespecting everybody. And I don't understand. It's like they don't have a code anymore.
Well, we don't, and a lot of it goes back to that first segment. We took God out of the school. We took prayer out of the school. Used to, you could trust your media, you could trust your government, you could trust your educational systems. We took God out. And that barrier, that foundational trust is no longer there. And now is what you see. And the Bible warns the heart is wicked. Left to its own, the heart will always go to a self-centered way if we don't surrender it and have a higher authority.
And see, my parents never taught me to go to war with police officers. It's like these parents nowadays, some parents nowadays are saying F the police and teaching their kids the same thing. And so they teaching their kids to go to war with these police officers. Not understanding when you go to war, there's casualties. And when that casualty happened, you got to look back and see how you brought this kid up, what you taught this kid. Because if you teach your kids to, if a police officer says stop. If a teacher says give me your phone, give up your phone. If there's a rule that says you can't use your phone in the classroom, don't use your phone in the classroom. So when someone says something, give me your phone, and you get pissed off, you want to go from a 0 to 100 real quick over a phone, and then you got people saying that it was just a phone. So if it was just a phone, why not put it away?
Right, and it could have been just a phone, but then you get into the attitudes and the disobedience, and then it escalates. Did you know this? According to the history book from BJU, the government book, the massacre, the Boston Massacre, started with a snowball.
Oh, wow.
Started with a snowball. Think that through. So when we're talking about situations escalating, they do. And then you were talking about social media. It really concerns me when I see everybody commenting on somebody being guilty or not guilty. We don't know unless you were there or in the courtroom or you heard the depositions. How do you know? And to decide and try somebody in social media is so dangerous, and we see it all the time today.
It's very dangerous, and it has a very significant impact on, I think, the outcome of some of these trials that we have, because people have their minds made up before we actually go through the process, and that judicial process is there to protect not just the person that's in there, but the people who are outside of it.
Right.
And
right.
I think there's a lot that's lost on that piece.
When your crowds get out of control, when we see what we've seen across the nation, it's because people don't believe there's justice. You see it in sporting events. When the crowd gets out of control, they don't trust the referee. They're not happy with his calls. So if we feel like we can trust justice, I think we used to have a better sense of justice. Even when we had probably more harsh, even I don't know where you guys are on the death penalty, but when we had justice delivered quickly, I think people could forgive in their hearts because they knew justice would come.
I don't even think it's about justice anymore. I think it's about just, I'm mad. I'm tired. Hate. You know what I'm saying? It's
self-centered.
I think justice is one of the last words that come out their mouth. They're just angry. They're mad at I'm just going to go back to the cops. They're mad at every police officer. They think that you guys are just out to just arrest all blacks. And that's not the case. They got to understand, too, that police officers go through a lot of trauma when it comes down to going to someone's house and a kid was killed. And they got to see that. And they say, well, they're trained to do that. Well, really? Yeah, they may be trained to do that, but they still human.
Right.
They still got feelings. They still go home and be like, man, I just saw a kid who was 15 years old dead over something small.
And it's nice that you mentioned that, because that's a big piece of a lot of the outreach that we're doing now is we want, and it's a priority for Chief Wingert, is that the community knows us on a personal level and understands that we are people. And once we build that relationship, and for lack of a better term, those friendships, it does make it a lot easier for people to help us help them. We can't do this alone, and we don't want to. So
what would you say to people who, if somebody's in their neighborhood and they see something that does concern them, are they still supposed to call their cops? Or is there a community or a watch line or something anymore you call?
Yeah, if you've got a problem in your neighborhood and you think it's a police issue, absolutely call us. I mean, and there's a variety of ways. We've got a couple different programs in place. Obviously, if you've got an emergency, we want you to call 911.
Right.
If you've got a problem that you not necessarily emergent, but you need to talk to a police officer, we've got an administrative line. It's 515-283-4811. But we also have a program that former Chief Bill McCarthy established called Neighborhood-Based Service Delivery. And when that was formed, it was representatives from several city departments that all came together to figure out a way to solve neighborhood problems without a lot of red tape and a lot of hassles and a lot of hard feelings between neighbors. So it's still a very, very active program. It's very popular in the community. And what it entails is it's got a police officer assigned to every recognized neighborhood association in the city. And their job is to take care of, you got a house where there's a loud party all the time. Okay, we're gonna work on that problem instead of, you call the police on a Friday night because there's a loud party. Basically, we're putting a Band-Aid on an axe wound. We're gonna go over there and we're gonna break up the party for Friday night, but it's gonna kick back up next Friday. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of that goes on. So
we just mentioned during the break. Are there gangs in the area? We assume that we have some gangs here, but we also don't have the escalated amount that we have.
There's gangs in Des Moines, but there's gangs here. There's violence here. There's killing here. There's everything here. Is it? I always say there's a level to everything. Is Des Moines at a level of Chicago, New York, Atlanta, St. Louis? No.
We shouldn't be.
But it's here. Mm-hmm. But it's not to the point where. Look, the whole Wake Up Iowa song was about not stopping Chicago, Des Moines becoming Chicago. I don't want Des Moines to be a state of emergency at one point because Iowa kids are trying to put Des Moines on a map for gangs and violence.
And that's why we had you together, and that's what I've been seeing. Just my introduction into the groups that I've been coming to is you're working together very well for our communities to build relationships to prevent situations like that. Mm-hmm. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned, 99.3 on King.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza, and it's got Graziano sausage.
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Will made me cry during the break. Big bully that he is. So this video that's coming out,
We Fight,
people, when do they get to see it?
March 1st
Where?
on YouTube.
So they'll just do a search?
They'll see it on YouTube, Facebook, on my page on Facebook. Probably you guys' page.
Yeah, we'll definitely link to it.
You'll put it on the
like Will
Facebook
said,
page?
we've got several employees that have roles in that,
The police chief's in there.
including Chief Dana
This
Winger.
is what I'm telling you folks listening. Our police department is working hand in hand with the community to make things better.
Every day.
I'm going to bawl. You guys just talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, he played Chief Dana played a real big role in this video.
Tell everybody why you made me cry.
Because the We Fight song was an idea that she brought to me a while ago, and she wanted to do something about the police officers.
That's
And-
Tamara.
Tamara. Sorry.
That's all right.
And I wound up writing a song about it, but I added a lot of stuff to it too. And it was her idea of me doing this song, and I did this We Fight song, and so it'll be out March 1st. And
I'm
she didn't
so
even know that. She
excited.
didn't even know that. She just found out today.
He's making me cry. That's awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So, guys, gang presence
Right.
versus gang problem.
Yeah, there's a big difference between the two. Des Moines does have a gang presence. There's gang members here. There have been for several years. But when we start talking about a gang problem, particularly as Will would speak, when you start looking at the larger cities, we don't have anything near
Right.
that. And there's a variety of reasons why, but we keep going back to the relationship that we have with the community. And that's what keeps these problems from exacerbating and becoming something that
think
is
so, too.
unmanageable. If you ignore it or if you don't address it head on, then it will grow. It's just like a cancer. I'm trying to think where I was going with part of that.
They're mad that you guys are addressing it head on. I mean, look, I love that you're addressing it head on. I don't, look, when it comes down to gang and people getting killed, I'm not for that. So they can be mad at me all day. And look, the snitching problem that's going on, that people talk about snitching, this is my definition of snitching. If me and you was at a bank and I got caught and you didn't, and I told them your name, well, I snitched on you. But if me and you was at a park and somebody came and drove by and shot you and killed you, well, that's justice now. They ain't snitching no more. Because if somebody else, if somebody killed that guy, friend or son who killed you, he would want to know all about this person who did it.
Yeah, and I think what you're talking about is just what you had said earlier when we first sat down before we went on the air. We were talking about all lives matter, and that's what you're talking about is that all lives matter, and the community taking ownership in where they live and the people that are around them and the things that are going on in their neighborhoods. That's the big piece there, and there's got to be accountability too on the other end. So, yeah, it is. It's an all lives matter thing. The participation that the community gives us, the partnership that we have is why we are where we are today and why these problems aren't getting out of hand. And, that's where the clergy has played a big role as far as assisting us at the police department, where we realized a long time ago that when you think about congregation in a church and who the clergy reaches in just pick a Sunday, any Sunday. You've got generations of people sitting there, from the youngest children in a family to the oldest adult in the family. So they touch a lot of people in the community. And like I said, every Wednesday, Al Perez, Reverend Wesley Daniels, several others are welcome to come, and they do attend our chief staff meetings, and they participate, and they take the message back out to the community. Will's been there, and those are the things that make it easier for us to follow up and share our plans and share our programs.
This is cool, guys. You got to let me
We're proud of it.
Yeah, I want to be a part of it too. And I think there's probably other people that want to help somehow. How or what can they do? Phone number or the Facebook page is how they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can always get a message to us through Facebook. If they'd like to call up to the media office, the number is 515-283-4084. We can help them out there. We've got a couple different outreach programs. One that would be good to showcase at this point when we talk about community participation is our Community Ambassador Program. It's about 200 volunteers strong. They help us with everything from the state fair to the schools. They helped us at recent I'll Make Me a World events. They are very, very good. And I don't want to use the word liaison, but I can't think of a better one. Maybe a conduit for us to communicate with some people who might not always want to listen to the police. They facilitate a lot of conversation and a lot of the relationships that we have.
Plus, when they know a little bit more about what you're dealing with, it helps them as well.
They have a great understanding of how we do business.
You were wondering why 6 cops would come to your car, but but now if we see it through the police eyes and the department eyes, then it might help us understand. Because what you're talking about, nobody respects authority anymore, frankly. Doesn't matter who it is. Nobody it's an in-your-face society. You tell me to do something, I'm going to be right back at you and daring you and telling you why I'm not going to do it. And
what you going to do about it?
Right.
Basically.
Right.
I tell you to do something and I don't do it. What you going to do about it?
But if we see things from the inside and from the other person's perspective, which is a biblical principle, then we're less likely to have the problems in the first place.
We got to understand too in the black community that a lot of blacks are afraid of police officers, and that's why when you mentioned earlier, when they have a problem with a police officer, who do they call? Well, nowadays, back in the day, it used to be if you blew, you blew. You don't snitch on each other, blah, blah, blah. Nowadays, the police officers are tired of the bad police officers. Good police officers are tired of bad police officers, so they're willing to deal with the problem. So, yes, if you have a problem with a police officer, call a police officer. Let me tell you something. Chief Dana is so different.
He seems like such a nice guy, not a heavy-handed.
Yo, I love him.
I hope he's listening because I often describe him as like a little old man on a porch because he will talk to anybody all day long about anything.
And he will fight for anybody.
Yes.
If he feels like it's right and it's justice, he will fight for it.
Folks listening, I hope you get how cool this is. We don't have the unrest that other cities have. We don't have finger pointing from one department head to the other. You have community people here and police department people here talking just how blessed we are to have the leadership that we have. And I remember just last year when he took the job, there were so many people pulling for him, wanting him to get the job. What a blessing that we have.
Well, what you see with him is exactly what you get.
Okay, so we're asking you out there, what can you do to make your community better? 1, mind your own manners. Behave yourself. Don't start the argument and don't feel like you have to finish it. But you can just respect those around you and maybe get involved with one of these programs. You didn't talk about the Explorer Force. Is that still going on?
Yeah, we've got actually 2. We've got the Police Explorer Post 21 for some of the older teens, and then we've got a Junior Police Explorer program that we do for some younger kids to introduce them.
I had a child go through that, and they loved it. Loved it.
I don't want to say the majority of our outreach programs are focused towards kids, but we've got several that are. We've got our MyCop program, the Junior Police Explorers programs, all the Police Athletic League programs. But we've also got the Community Ambassadors program that's got folks of all ages involved and from all walks of life around the community. And we just entered in this year to participate in the Triad program, which is an elderly outreach to help the elderly with crimes and issues that typically affect them more than others.
Okay. Say, Paul, does Des Moines PD use the body cams? We're
getting them. Probably the best thing that's ever happened to us.
You're excited about that?
Yeah, we're very excited about it. It's about it's an expensive venture. It's about $1.5 million. We're going to be outfitting probably over 360 officers.
Yeah, because that is a very good thing because then everybody has eyes on everything.
Yeah, it's not going to be perfect, just like any other piece of technology.
You can still get the wrong impression, right, from a video?
Well, it's not going to give you a 360-degree view. And there are just some things with video, like we see on TV all the time, spatial differences. But it's going to answer so many questions, and it's going to, I think, resolve so many doubts that some people may have, and reinforce the person part of it also.
So you can also now get the dash cams. Anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend that or not?
Do I recommend someone wanting to look at them?
Somebody getting a dash cam. Like everybody
Oh, you mean
can have
for
a
your
dash
personal
cam.
car?
Yeah, everybody can have them.
It all depends on, what your concerns are. I'm not that paranoid. I mean, if I get in a crash, I'm pretty confident the police are going to come and figure out what happened, and and that's going to happen. I don't understand the investment.
So you're saying everybody that has them are paranoid? Is that what you're saying?
No, I better not say that, because I'll probably hear about that. When we talk about the body cameras, it is probably going to be the best thing that's ever happened. And when you talk about community participation, I'm not soliciting anything here, but just to talk about the faith that the community has in us, we've received over $100,000 in donations.
Great.
And I'm not sure I can talk about this, but there's more coming in where we're going to receive, I think ultimately in the end, several $100,000 of donations towards this purchase.
Is that something corporations are doing and private individuals can do?
Both.
Yes, and.
Yes, we're getting it from everywhere, and that's something that just kind of blew us away. I was talking with the chief just today about that, and it just amazes me the generosity of our community.
Now I know at the Capitol they have a memorial service for folks who have lost their lives on a job. I know in Coralville they have a memorial service for firemen who have lost their lives. Do we have a day of appreciation for police officers?
Yeah, typically we have Police Week, which is usually in May, and that's when the police memorial service is held. And that's what you're talking about up there there's a law enforcement memorial up there on the state property by the Capitol. It's usually in May. It's a week long. We have a lot of events. We do a show and tell on the Court Avenue Bridge and around the station. But that's just one of the things. I mean, you can stop in any time. You want to come and have a tour of the police station? Yep, come on down. We'll give you a tour.
We can seriously stop in for a tour.
Yeah, come on down.
Do we need an appointment?
We'd like you to have one, just so we got somebody that's available. Yeah, but if you call the chief's office, it's 515-283-4800. They'll arrange a tour for you. I host many of them.
I want to do a ride-along.
You can do a ride-along.
Can anybody do a ride-along?
There are some limitations as to who can, but typically the general public can, yes.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, when I talk about limitations, I'm talking about felony convictions or certain probation parole status. Those types of things might limit you from getting in a police car.
All right. I think we've covered pretty much everything here today that we could have had a finger pointed at us. The one thing with the Beyonce thing was the policemen were no longer going to volunteer. I guess some of them volunteered. That's fine. That's their prerogative. But she's still going to get police covering. She's still going to. They're going to do their jobs. Whether they like somebody or not, they're going to do their job.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, part of our, our commitment is to police impartially. And we do it every day. I've done a lot of good things for people I really don't care for, in 20-some years. And
that's the quote of the day.
That'll be the quote of the day.
I like that.
But
we all do that.
Yeah,
we all should do that, right?
Yeah. Yep. If you're committed to something and you're going to do the things you need to do to see it through, and that's how we are. We'll do it with a smile on our face. If we don't, like Will says, if you've got a complaint, you can call down, talk to our Office of Professional Standards. They will investigate it. We've had officers, all you got to do is a Google search over the past few years that have been indicted. So you're right. We don't want it. And that's why our recruitment efforts are at the level that they're at, and the outreach, the relationships, so that we can make sure that everybody understands exactly what our goals are and work with us.
And obviously not everybody's perfect, but I think overall, from what I've seen from the people I know, we've got a pretty good set of officers.
Oh, yeah, nobody's perfect. I just got a speed camera ticket. So, I mean...
You did?
I did.
Wow. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah. So $65 later, me and the city are even.
Right.
I thought we were doing away with those. I thought we were doing away with the speed cameras.
Oh, well, that's a whole nother topic. But right now it's being appealed. And I'm sure the home rule law will see us through.
But I'm glad you said that, man.
Because we want to know that he doesn't get nobody erased it.
I want to know, that shows how real he is. He don't mind saying, I got a ticket for a speed camera. I mean, a lot of people won't, a lot of cops won't say that, but he did.
Yeah.
Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
And thanks for staying tuned. We totally blew right past that last break. We were just having fun amongst ourselves, forgot about all of you. Thank you for traveling along with us. And while you're paying attention to the road or whatever it is, maybe you're in the office, maybe you're at home already getting dinner. Thanks for being with us today. It is Wednesday. Happy hump day if that's the middle of your week and you're on to something else. But there's just so much going on out there, and there's always a way to make your world better. Quit waiting for somebody else to do it. Mm-hmm. Did we talk about everything you guys wanted to hit on?
No.
I mean, I think we could probably talk all day if you wanted to.
Obviously, we don't have any shortage here.
I just want people to know when they hear my music, they go to my website, they hear my music, that I'm not just the Wake Up Iowa song. I am R&B hip hop. I am hip hop. So when you hear my music, you're gonna hear some things you might not like. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to some of my language in my music.
But now that it's Tamara inspired, we gotta like it.
All right, let's do
Everybody's gonna like it.
All right.
So, and we're gonna work on something else coming up this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good, because we're gonna honor veterans this year.
Okay.
This is awesome, and I already have a church that wants to work with us.
Oh, really?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So when the people who are willing to put their life on the line for you every day, whether it's on the battlefield or right here at home, across the street, on the streets, we need to honor them, and I don't think we do enough of that. All right, so issues of the day going on. Apple, are they right about the back door? Former director of the NSA, CIA, that's what the paper says right in front of me. What's the deal?
Well, I feel
Counselor.
I feel like if it has something to do with terrorists, I think they should get in that phone and find out what's going on.
Well, I agree, because the person's dead. Okay, so it's not like we're violating their Fourth Amendment right. At the same time, our founding fathers said if you give up liberty for security, you'll have neither. So, and they say they can't make this program for just one phone, which I find hard to believe. I'm really disappointed in Apple. So, the last thing we want is a Snowden-type warning, a situation where they can go in and see everything about us that's not theirs. We have the Fourth Amendment for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Fourth Amendment is absolutely there for a reason, and it guides us in our day-to-day activities at the police department, you know. And as we talked about body cameras a little bit ago, that is becoming the issue that's I think is going to drive how we do business with body cameras, is how do we balance the public's right to privacy versus the public's right to know what we do. And it's definitely going to be legislated. We've tried to address it the best we can in our policies. This policy that we're coming forward with the body cameras is still in a draft form. It's been through, I started working on it over 18 months ago. The committee is still going on. I think the chief's red-penned it probably 4 or 5 times. But we've had everybody weigh in on it, from city legal to the community groups to the chief's staff. Everybody's got a say in it. And it is still coming down to 2 issues, your right to privacy versus your right to know. So the Constitution is there for a reason.
We need to know. These guys are killing people. So let's get in their phones and find out what's going on. Understand that.
and I think we're all in agreement on that. I mean, obviously, this is a little bit different situation. Like I said, they're already gone. It's not like we're violating someone who's going to be on trial. They're gone. And we have good evidence that they were involved. But to the person driving down the road, if I were... we hear about the small town cops that like to cause problems for the young kids, just harass them, and we've seen some of those situations. So what do you tell those kids? Because we're telling them to be good, to be obedient, to listen to authority. But when you have kind of those situations, and having attorneys in the family, at what point do you say, as a student or as a driver, if they say, "Can I look in your car?" What? Because we tell our kids, no.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would do what the scenario just described is if the police department's leadership needs to talk to the officers, because those officers need to be talking to those kids before there's a problem. And that's the thing. If Will talked about driving by a park, seeing a kid playing, that's when you need to get out and talk to those kids, when it's not some adversarial situation. And then beyond that, are you asking about when do you consent to a search?
See, I say cop. Is it bad to say cop?
No.
Is it disrespectful?
No, I'm a cop.
Okay. So when they come to the officer, and they come into the window, and they say, you see it on TV, can I look in your trunk? Do police officers really ask that?
Sometimes we do, yeah. And I would think, I would hope, I know that, like Will said, there's some officers out there who aren't necessarily... doing the right thing all the time. Our officers are expected to do the right thing all the time, regardless of who's looking. And we expect them to do everything by the book. We can ask you to look in your trunk, and if we don't have reasonable suspicion that there's some kind of criminal activity afoot or probable cause, you can tell us no.
And if I say no, then do they threaten me like we see on TV when they say, okay, we'll just impound your car and you can be here for a while?
That doesn't happen very often. We don't do that, I can tell you that.
They're just trying to convince you to do it. You can consent to it. That's what they're trying to do, is get you consent.
Then is it used against you because you allowed it, but you hadn't had maybe your rights?
Well, if you've got a body in the trunk, it's going to be used against you. Right. But we aren't just out willy-nilly asking to go through people's stuff on a fishing expedition.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, that some are. And because some are, they're looking at those cops as all cops doing it.
Right. And then we go back to the original problem that we discussed.
Go back to the original problem. That's why it's very important when, like a friend told me, the cops need a clean house then. Well, they don't understand sometimes when you are a cop, you have unions, you have laws. It's so many things you have to go through to get rid of a cop that's bad. Am I right?
It all depends on what that bad cop's done.
Right.
We've fired people on the spot for inappropriate or illegal activities.
Exactly.
Now, if you're talking about an officer who may not quite understand exactly the scope of the law that he's trying to enforce and where it goes and where he can go with it, reinstruction might fit that. We might be able to say, okay, listen, this guy just doesn't get it. let's sit him down, let's train him a little bit more, let's see if he can pick it up and go with it from there.
But then you got some people out there who just want to intimidate the cop. It go both ways.
Right.
Intimidate the cop just so they can get their views on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And so you have, look, like I said, when I say bad cops, bad blacks, bad whites, bad whoever, it's all about us getting together and stopping those people. Start saying their names and stop saying everyone is bad. I'm done with that.
Because while we're talking about the body cameras, you're saying somebody can be using their cell phone to provoke an officer and then try and get them on video.
Exactly. They do that all the time.
And we encourage people to video us because we're videoing ourselves. You
Really?
know, I mean, we've got the cameras going in our cars. If you're going to take a video of an officer who's doing a traffic stop because you think he's doing something inappropriate, you're just giving us a different angle because we're already videotaping it. And again, our training is a lot different than it used to be. I think Chief Wingert describes it as adopting more of a guardian mindset for our community, and that's how we approach everything right now. Obviously, we're going to be very, very conscious of our safety, and there are going to be things that we're not going to allow people to do. But if you protest that, you may end up in handcuffs because safety first all the way around. But Our job is to serve the community, and that's where we're going with this, and that's what we want to do, and we need the community's participation for that. I'll tell you all day long, we've got the best police officers in the world in Des Moines.
You know,
absolute best.
There's another aspect that I think people should consider is the stress aspect. And you mentioned it too, Will and Paul, that takes a toll on law enforcement or emergency services. And so when you experience a lot of domestic problems, death, and so forth, it does take a psychological toll also.
Yeah, and it's keeping on the theme of the programs that we have. We have a peer support team. We have officers within our organization that have received special training to counsel their peers, and that's something that we look at. And people often ask when we have an officer that's involved in a critical incident, particularly like an officer-involved shooting, why do they go on administrative leave? Why are you paying them to sit at home? We're letting them get themselves together. I mean, that is an incredibly traumatic incident, and so people need to reconcile their thoughts and feelings.
And because it's an investigation too, he's innocent until he's proven guilty.
Disclosure.
Oh, he's innocent until he's proven guilty, right?
Yeah, and we have a dual investigation. There will be a grand jury if we're involved in something like that, but there's also the internal review, which takes a lot longer.
All right. We've got to go to break. We're not going to miss this one. Bob Montserrat, thank you for helping me man the boards. And Will Keeps, thanks for being here. Paul, I've moved your sheet. Parizek.
Yes.
Did I say it right? Parizek. And with the Des Moines Police Department. Again, if you have any questions, you can call them in. We'll be
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
So we're talking behind the break. It's a complicated world. Talking about some of the things our kids even deal with in the elementary schools, and just why you need to be involved as parents. And I didn't ask either one of you this, but you're wondering what we can do to make it better. Wouldn't it be better if families actually trained up their kids how to respect authority? It starts in the home.
You say train?
Train.
You're talking about raising your kids.
Raising kids.
Yeah. You say trained and
really? That's a difference? Because here's the deal. Families healthy, society benefits.
Absolutely.
Families broken, society pays the cost. Mm-hmm. You all see it on the streets.
I think Will and I could probably both say something similar to this, or at least have some parallel thoughts. That I mean, I know I have 3 children of my own, but I can guarantee you in the 20-some years I've been doing police work, I've raised, probably 3 times that.
Look, let me tell you something. Me being raised in Chicago and been in the gangs and was left for dead at 15 years old, and my family thought that I was never going to be anything. They thought that my brothers and my sister was going to be taking care of me. Now, as a man, my oldest daughter got a full-ride scholarship playing basketball at Bemidji. I take care of my Bemidji State. I take care of my nephew who lived in the bad part of Chicago, who weighed 280-some pounds when he first got here. Now he weighs 190 pounds, starting at football for Hoover High School. My son, who was in trouble a lot in school, and you go through these things with these kids. They're not going to be perfect, but now he plays basketball, he plays football, and he get decent grades, but he's not terrible. But he's one of the nicest kids in the world. My daughter's a bookworm. She get all A's and B's. Now, see, this is me, a person who was left for dead, gang banging like it's no tomorrow. Got a do-rag on my head because I got scars on my head, scars on my face, stabbed in the chest. And my family is doing their thing. I'm married, beautiful wife. And so if I can do it, anybody can do it. You just got to fight. Some of these kids think, going to school, it's hard. It's hard work. I don't want to do this because it's hard. But you don't understand. If you don't do the hard work now, when you become an adult, it's going to get harder. Then what?
And when you say you got to fight, you're not meaning fight like we see on the streets. You're saying you got to fight back, stand up for yourself, and do the right thing.
Fight for your life. Fight for your,
When did God come into your life?
God been in my life all my life. When
did you start paying attention to him then?
That's a good question. I've always paid attention to him. Like when it came down to my career, my music career, they say a lot of people ask the devil to say, hey, get me to where I want to be. And they talk to the devil. I told God, I said, look, I would never ask the devil for anything. When it's time for you to get me where I need to be, you'll do it. And I'll be ready when you ready for me. So God been in my life all my life. Have I walked the path? I haven't walked the path all my life, no. And sometimes I still make mistakes today, but I know he's there. And that's why the music that I do, I reach out to all kids. I'm not just going to sing gospel. I'm not just going to sing inspiring songs. I'm going to sing hip-hop. I'm going to sing R&B. I'm going to sing love songs because I can reach a lot of people that way. And that's what I'm going to do. And if people don't like it, oh well.
I think what you just said when you were talking about raising kids, and it goes back to something that you said earlier about your presence. One thing is that there's a big difference between being present and having presence. A lot of parents aren't involved. Are not involved in what their kids are doing. They're not involved in their kids' phones. As we talked about some of the gang-impacted youth in town, I recall an incident many, many years ago, probably about 15 years ago, where we entered into a bedroom during just a simple runaway case. We just wanted to take a look at see what the kid had in the room, where it might tell us who they were hanging out with.
Right.
And the walls from the ceiling to the floor were covered with gang graffiti, and the parents had not been in that room for probably close to 6 months because they said they wanted to respect their child's privacy.
Is that on East 14th Street?
I don't remember where it was, but it was about 10 years ago. Okay. I mean, it was a while back. But those parents were present in the home, but they had no presence in that child's life, and that's a big thing. That goes back to our organizational leadership at the police department. Yeah. We have got a chief that is not only present in that building, but he has an intense presence in each officer's day-to-day life. Mm-hmm. He shows up in roll calls. He shows up, to calls for service. I've seen him. I hear him on the radio. It's just it's all organizational leadership with the course that our department's following. But again, it goes back to the same thing, the same concept in the home.
And the way y'all talk to each other too is funny. Man, y'all be cracking jokes on each other all the time up in there. It's like it's a feel good environment.
He's not funny. Don't let him. He's not funny.
But we can tell when you talk about him, you're not buttering him up. It's an honest, genuine relationship.
Oh, he is a good friend of mine, but he's also a great leader.
We have gone through the day. Thanks for being here with us, Bob Montserrat. Thank you for your help. WillKeeps.com, WillKeeps.com. Check out the video. Paul Parizek, thank you for your office service as public info officer with the Des Moines Police Department. You've heard a lot of great information, but I think the most important thing we could have said to you today is somebody's going to raise your children. It's the opportunity you have to do it. And if you don't police and discipline them, somebody else will have to. You've been challenged. Be encouraged. Never be complacent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We still have what? Oh, I'm going off my clock. Can we come back on? It was a great close, too.
Yeah,
Everybody listening out there, that was a great close. Encore. We're going to give you an encore. Max sitting over there just choking at home.
I'll sing some to y'all before y'all go now.
I actually got it right on the second, too. I'm going off my clock. We have to go off Mac's clock. I have to play by the rules. That's been part of the problem, too. But we were just talking about raising your kids. You got anything? You got encore, guys. Anything to add to that?
Lord, I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you. Lord, I'm nothing without you.
Not a bad thing for any of us to remember.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about something else earlier about what you give and what you do and knowing yourself and knowing your lessons. I don't care what field you're in. If you get ahead of God, I don't care if you're a politician. I don't care if you're a superstar athlete. You get ahead of God, you get in front of his protection. He will exalt you. You mentioned it. He will exalt you when he's ready.
Yes.
And not before. All right. So I'm hearing music. What do we got? Another couple minutes, Bob?
Yep. We still have time. So can we hear? No, I was going to say sing another
Round
song.
number 2. So tomorrow, Mac may be here. He may not. On Friday, Lou Engle is going to be in Ankeny. Lou Engle is going to be at Heartland Assembly in Ankeny. I don't have the time, but I'm sure you can call Heartland and get the time. I think that will be very informative and very interesting for us to hear the teachings of Lou Engle, Heartland Assembly in Ankeny. I know there's Michael W. Smith's going to be there Friday for lunch, and I think you have to have reservations to get into that one, so you better call Heartland Assembly and get yourself into that one. Anything else?
No, I was just hoping that they join us tomorrow. I know we're going to have a pastor here tomorrow from Ankeny North Point Church. He'll be here at the 4 o'clock hour. Yeah, his name is Pastor Steve Bailey, and so we're looking forward to having him here again. We were doing the Ask the Pastor questions last time he was here, and Mac's computer went down.
Do you stump the shepherd?
Well, we always say there is no wrong answers, but whenever somebody gives a wrong answer to Mac, he argues with him. So I'm just saying, Mac, if you're listening, we just kind of chuckle about that.
Well, Mac, thanks for trusting me with the microphone today. I only blew it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And,
you did great.
So thanks, guys, for being here. Thanks for the work that you do. And I'm serious. I want to get in. I want to get on the action and see some of this and see what we can do to help. All right. So you have been challenged. You've seen my challenges. Now be encouraged. You don't have to be perfect. Be encouraged. Never be complacent.